That's it. I'm going to initiate the Department of Scott the Truck Driver efficiency. I'm going to put tariffs on all of my videos. From now on, nothing's free. No more free videos. No more. It's pay only from now on. Okay, I'm joking. So, it's been 10 days since my last video, and I don't think I've ever been this broke in my life. You know, I think back to all the times when I felt broke, but I don't think I've been quite as broke as I am now. Now, I did have a bankruptcy in my early 20s because I sucked at personal finance back then. And I still suck at it today, but I'm not in a, it's not the end of the world position, but I can tell you things are not looking good. So I'm still got another month under my belt of this attempt at semi-retirement by taking a year off from trucking, at least. I want to permanently retire, but the more and more I look at it, the less and less likely I feel like that scenario is going to play out. I did make it through this last month by the skin of my balls. Essentially, I had some help. My mother contributed and my girlfriend contributed to make me make it through the month because I had come to the decision at that point that I was going to hop in a truck and they didn't want me to. So they helped out. So I made it through the month, not on my own at all. So I got bailed out and I'm aware of it and I don't like it. So I got to change some things. And it's going to involve this channel a little bit as well, things I'm changing. So if you're a premium member of my website, I'm sorry to say that I'm going to have to take my website down. I can't afford to keep it going. It's in the neighborhood of $500 to $600 a year to run that website with all of the bells and whistles to be able to put my own videos up. And it makes me sad. I wish I could afford to maintain it because it gives me a censorship-free outlet to put my shit on. It's my platform. It's my little place in the world to sell my creative shit. My creative shit isn't selling enough to pay for the website. So, at some point you got to look at it and be like, maybe take a break from trying to run the website. So for those of you who are premium members, please, you can unsubscribe. No more subscriptions. We'll get into that in a minute. So one of the first things I'm looking at cutting is the website. So I'm still going to maintain my domains, which is like 20 something a year to hold on to, but the website will be going down. It's just too much money that I am currently, if I want to not have to hop in a truck, I have to get rid of it until maybe such a point to where the YouTube channel carries enough weight financially to make it make sense from a business standpoint to have that website going. As I'm not as worried about censorship because I'm already pretty much, my channel doesn't grow anymore. It's still not growing. And YouTube is putting little things in the ads now that for me to try and reach more people, I have to buy ad space. So gone are the days. They did it with Facebook, and now they're doing it with YouTube. Gone are the days where you could just put some shit out and just go viral and suddenly be promoted. They want you to pay to play. And if they want you to pay to play, chances are they're not going to promote you any other way. that's just my impression. When I see that pop up that you want me to start paying for views, essentially, on my videos, I know I've seen it happen with Instagram, I've seen it happen with Facebook, and I know that that's just not a thing. So I'm, the reason the website is number one on my list for expenses to cut is because I'm not getting a return on my investment, both time wise and money wise, with that website. It'd be much simpler just to post all my content on YouTube, have YouTube handle donations or subscriptions or whatever, and take their 30% for doing so, at least. That way I'm not getting a bill. They're just taking their cut as needed, which works out for me better financially, I feel like, than getting more of a, taking less of a cut, but at least, they take less of a cut with the website and everything, but the website itself costs so much. So it kind of mathematically, it just doesn't make sense for me to hold on to my website. So in the next month or so, it will be coming down. I will be stopping all subscriptions that haven't stopped already at some point. So like I said, if you're a premium member and you still want to support the channel, you can just switch it over to YouTube at this point. I am going to revise the membership profiles on YouTube, and I'm just going to let YouTube handle it till they ban me or something or whatever happens. Who knows how that can go. So, and I've been inspired by the government cuts and the draining of the swamp and everything that's going on right now. So I'm going to drain my personal swamp. Financial swamp. It's kind of I feel like there's so many leeches on my balls right now financially, as far as you got insurance. Don't even get me started on insurance. When the dickhead smashed into my door, which is still fucked up, by the way, I still got another week before I can get it in the shop. And then it'll be 2 or 3 weeks with probably a rental car or something. But, I've got all of these little monthly fucking things coming out of me that I need to fix. One of them is Adobe, as you heard me bitch in that last video. I'm going to have to take $100 hit. I'm so pissed off about that. I'm thinking of just switching my credit card number so that they can't charge me anymore and saying, fuck you guys. You can't just steal from me like that. It's ridiculous. But leaving them aside, I need to start cutting back on my expenses. Maybe cut everything down to the bare minimum, bare essentials, cell phone, whatnot. And then if I start to feel the burn, like the pain of the missing subscriptions, maybe reintroduce them at a later time. So my plan right now is to cut some of the outflow to make it a little easier for me to make my bills every month. Obviously, I'm stuck with this thing. So I can't get rid of my car payment. I can't get rid of the insurance for it because they'll take the van at that point. So I basically got to start really examining the outflow of my money. And you might be saying, well, what about trucking and deliveries and shit? Well, deliveries, I don't know if you noticed, the economy's not doing well, which brings me also to trading. So I'm not done with trading yet. I'm still working on it. I'm at $134 in my account unrealized right now, which I've switched my tactics. Some of you are rubbing it in the comments that the market's gone into a bear market and that the S&P is going to drop. Well, that's fine. I don't care. I'm a trader. We don't care if it goes up. We don't care if it goes down, as long as we know which way it's going. And right now, I think it's safe to say the S&P has been dropping almost daily for over a week now. And it's been closing lower. There's been lower highs and lower lows. And so I'm just making money on the way down. That's what I'm doing. I've structured my trades to be more of a shorting the market deal until I see the momentum shift. But right now, everybody's all scared because of tariffs and all of that horse shit. And the market's going down. So I'm going to make money with the market going down. But that being said, I am being more conservative with how much I'm risking at a time. Right now, I'll keep one $100 trade open, per week or so, or every 2 weeks, depending on what kind of trade I'm doing. That way, it doesn't require as much of my time to monitor it, and to, I can check it a couple times a day and be like, oh well, shit, trade's going bad or it's going good. And if it goes good, then I make profit. So. I'm taking less risky trades, things that have anywhere between a 70 and 80% win rate, and also basing it on charts and, all the things I've learned I'm using to figure out my trades. But I'm going to be just taking my time there. I'm not using it to live. I am trying to grow the account, so I'm not trying to pull any money out of it. So I'm going to see if I can take it from $100 all the way back up to the 1,000 and beyond. And that's the goal there. But there's been some growing pains. There's been some learning pains. And, it was kind of a big blow to me that I can't really use it the way I wanted to. And that's to be able to make trades, make some extra money with it, to take the money I earn from deliveries and amplify it through trading. Those plans have kind of been toned down a bit. Right now, I'm doing deliveries strictly to pay the bills, and I'm barely making it. And as the economy is dropping, I've also noticed that the pay rates for truck drivers right now, they're dropping. I saw an ad now for 55 cents a mile, which tells me the demand for truck drivers is dropping, probably because everything's dropping in demand. That's what a recession is, people. When a recession hits, everything slows down, and it affects the gig economy as well. So no matter what I do, I'm tied to this economy. If the economy tanks, I'm going to be even broke. I'm going to be even more broke, because nearly everything I do, even on YouTube, people aren't going to donate if they're broke as fuck. Same thing with deliveries. People aren't going to order delivery when they can just go get it themselves and save a little cash. So I'm seeing a decline in not only how much I can make per mile on deliveries in the gig economy, but I'm also seeing it in the trucking industry, which is not good for me. I'm really hoping this channel does pick up some slack in the next 3 or 4 months, so I can put more time into it, more effort into it, and continue this journey. But things are hard right now. I ain't gonna lie. I'm still highly tempted to hop in a truck, even at the lower fucking freight. And, I imagine the freight is dropped significantly out there. So even if I hopped in a truck, I might not make as good money as I would hope for all the time that I would be throwing away. And I don't really want to go back in the truck. I feel like it's there, it's calling to me financially, but as far as lifestyle and as I get older, I'm just so fucking tired of it. I'm just so tired of the industry. Tired of being on the road all the time in the truck. Not being, that's different. Like if I was on the road in this, I could do fun things. I could go to places I want to go and be able to go there. You can't do that in a truck. And I'm not really wanting to do that. I don't know. However much I think of it, after 21 years, I don't want to fucking do it anymore. All right. I did my time. I want to be lazy. All right. I want to be older, lazy, retired before I fucking die. Is that too much to ask? So, yeah, everything. I gotta really start cutting my costs. That for sure is a thing. Like I'm doing things like going to Costco to eat the $1.50 hot dogs. I just went there and had a $2 slice of pizza. So yeah, it's bad when you're just going to Costco to eat. It's another fucking annual subscription there. But that pays for itself, so I ain't getting rid of that one. That one I definitely make, profit as far as like I eat there twice a week. Just because it's cheap. Trying to the other issue I'm having is politics. See, when you're trying to become a trader full time, you have to watch the news because the news is a catalyst for the markets. So you got to know what the trends are. You got to know how people are feeling. You got to know what the market manipulators are saying, and the market manipulators being the media. So I've been kind of sucked into all of this politics that's going on right now with Ukraine, with Trump, with the tariffs, with Canada. Obviously, I go to Canada quite a bit. So when Trudeau wants to get in a pissing match with Trump, I'm kind of caught in the middle of that. I'm noticing that the media is really spinning up people to be angry again. The way they did the first, they're using the same playbook from 2016 to just constantly push anger. There's nothing Trump can do that's right, which I agree with. About like 3/4 of his policies that he's put out and followed through on, which is rare, I agree with. I'm a libertarian, but I agree with that. And if I had to pick between that and what the left's offering, which is Trump bad, and that's it. That's all they seem to say. Trump's this, Trump's bad. Nope, nope, nope. Like you look at the little State of the Union address there. I'm going to piss some lefties off here. But they couldn't even stand up for the kid with cancer. I mean, nothing says Trump derangement syndrome like he could go up there and hand every American $10,000 refund on their money that's been pissed away over the fucking last 25 years. And the Democrats would still be bitching. And here's how I go, as far as politics. We all had the right to vote, and clearly, without question, we have a Republican-led Congress, a Republican majority in the Senate. Trump swept all of the swing states and the popular vote. You lost, all right? You shouldn't be trying to blah, blah, blah. You're a such and such ism if you fucking voted blah, blah, I hate people that voted for him. I hate everybody. There's people out there burning Teslas to the ground and, throwing little hissy fits. Do you think that's how you win the popular vote? That's how you get normal fucking people to vote your way? I mean, this kind of should be a wake-up call, I feel like, to the Democrats. You've lost moderate Democrats. There's moderate Democrats on the Republican ticket at this point. And it's because of your approach. Your approach is to demonize and hate and divide and accuse and point your finger and be like, like you're superior in some way. And you're not. You're not superior in any way. And as a libertarian, I'm always having to look at the lesser of two evils. Obviously, the Republicans, I side with Republicans in smaller government. I don't want big, huge government bureaucracies. So, I was pretty much fapping when Doge started cutting everything and getting rid of these huge swaths of government bureaucracy that are just eating through our tax dollars at a rate that's going to destroy the country at some point financially. So, and yet nothing but bad things. Now everybody hates Elon Musk. Elon Musk is just a tool in the machine to get rid of the swamp, essentially, where all our money has been going to die. My stance on Ukraine. Let's fucking just completely nuke my channel by telling you all my politics. I don't think we should be there. I don't think we should be involved. I don't think we should send them a fucking dime. I think all of the NATO countries that haven't been paying the bills, that have been essentially funding socialized programs in their country while letting us shoulder the burden of national defense, maybe they need to step up and we can take a step back. Let's roll things back to where we didn't fuck around with anybody, anywhere. No more war. I seen some people on Facebook with the I stand with Ukraine, blah, 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 virtue signal, blah, 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 blah. And then I go on YouTube and I watch drone videos of them. And I got to be careful talking about this. But on YouTube, you can find pro-Ukraine propaganda channels which show footage of drones neutralizing, fill in the blank there, neutralizing soldiers of the other side who had surrendered, who were injured, just flying drones right into them. And yeah, they blur it, but it's still pretty traumatic to watch because you see them terror. They're filled with terror. And that's happening on both sides. I'm not saying one side's better than the other. I'm saying we shouldn't be paying for that. No. They want to fight. That's on them. Okay? I realize Russia shot first. Now, we could argue why they would do that. Like the fact that we were trying to make Ukraine NATO, essentially, which would be like China coming over or Russia coming over and having a military pact with Canada right now, which they might still do, by the way. How would we react to that here in the United States? Probably wouldn't be good. I'm just saying. Not that I'm trying to justify what, Russia is currently meat grinder. They're basically throwing all their soldiers into a meat grinder. That's their tactic. Keep throwing bodies at it. And it's hard to see through the fog of war and all the bullshit going on, but one thing I am completely against is war. I don't want war. War makes people rich at the expense of young people's lives. And most of the people fighting over there probably don't like the fact that they're fighting. They're doing it because if they don't, well, different sides, different things, but I'm sure there's severe consequences if you don't fight and you're of able-bodied fighting age in those two countries. So my point is, I don't want my fucking tax dollars paying for it. I don't want to send them a fucking dime. I don't care who wins the war at this point. Leave me the fuck out of it. That's Europe's problem. If Europe wants to be all fuck you guys, then hey, step up, pay the bills. You guys pay the bills. It's your fucking backyard. You pay the bills. They start pissing in our backyard, then we'll pay some bills. All right. But and this, the entitlement and the attitude and all of that shit, and it's carried on through tons of fucking, sorry, people pulling up next to me. Can't just privately talk to a camera anymore. But when I see people that are like for this country, for that country, and are not for the United States as somebody who served his country, it does bother me. So when I see people virtue signal and I stand with Ukraine, I'm like, no, you stand with the United States. This is your country. And stop with the shit. Stop with the virtue signaling, the narcissism and the bullshit that's constantly just stop. It's the number one reason why everything's fucked up. All right, ran over. How many of you unsubscribed after that little political rant? But I'm just so done with that, and I hate that I have to watch this shit. And I have to see all of the backlash and all the political horse shit. I've cleaned up my feed online for the most part to where I don't have to deal with it too much. And it's not as bad as it was in the early 2020s and how everything was because, hey, people would cancel you then. It's harder to get canceled now because they pulled the funding from all the places that cancel you. But and New York is acting ridiculous in all of this as well. So, and I'm tired. Aren't you tired of it? Aren't you tired of this back and forth division and hatred of people that are not on your team for no good reason? Not really, the policies that the Democrats are fighting at or calling out or being against right now are ridiculous. Now, some could argue the tariff thing. Tariff would be a good debatable topic. I'm pro-tariff. Why? I want manufacturing back here in the United States. I want companies to... I'm not for globalization, which tariffs are against globalization. That's why all of these globalist leaders are like, Trump, Trump. That's why. It comes down to money. That's all it is. Just follow the money. All of this fucking spending that's been uncovered for ridiculously stupid things. Where did it come from? Where did it go? What political side was it from? But people are just so blinded by their partisanship that they can't see the corruption. And there's corruption on both sides. But so any side that's cleaning up some of that, not to say that it's going to be permanent, Hell, we might only have 2 years of it. For all I know, the midterms will refill the swamp. No matter how many times you drain the swamp, it's going to get refilled. It's just the way the world is. Everyone's trying to get rich. Everyone's trying to take your money. Everyone's got their hand in your pocket. And that's what it boils down to. That's why when people get so hardcore and against each other in politics, we're all suffering. And we suffered no matter who was in office. All right? As much as I agree with some of the things that the Trump administration is doing, I have not seen any change. In fact, we've seen that the market's gone down a bit. We've seen that inflation is still going. We're not seeing any relief here in the trenches, And that, to me, is important. And I think that's why Trump won. That's his mandate, is to fix this shit. Fix the economy. Fix the problems that we're having. And to be fair, he's done more than any president in my lifetime as far as making things better. Every other administration, I just felt defeated every time. And as you know, I was not a fan of the Biden administration. And I was not a fan of some of the things Trump did during the coup when it first started. I'm tired of the politics. Can't we just focus on fixing these problems together? Both sides? There's got to be some common ground here. You've got former moderate Democrats in the Trump administration. Surely there's some kind of compromise. But instead of this orange man bad, you lost. He's there. He's not going anywhere. No matter how you've done everything to try and stop him, and he's there. The people put him there in spite of all of the dumb shit you guys have been doing to try and get rid of Trump. He's there. You've taken shots at him. You've done all of this shit to try and you've made him a felon. You've done all of this stuff to try and stop him. And the people still wanted him there. That says something. It's not like he was just sitting there and there was no challenge to him trying to win the election. He just offered us what we wanted, while you guys just offered us finger pointing and you're bad. It's not a hard decision if you're going to alienate over half the population, then you're going to lose elections. That's how democracy works. And, you know, saying that it's not democracy just because you lost the election, you know, should I have said it was not democracy when Biden won? Which, hey, we could do some talking on that one. So, just goes to show is, instead of just appealing, change my mind, change the minds of people instead of pointing your finger and saying, I am superior, and if you don't agree with me, you're this, or you're that, or you're a piece of shit, or any of these fucking things you guys, that the left seems to be doing right now. It's, stop that. Shaving your heads and doing all of that crap that they were doing when he first was winning, and, stop it. It's ridiculous. That's not how you win people over to vote your way. And no, you don't get to be violent and take things over if an election doesn't go your way. That's not how democracy works. Some people need a fucking lesson in that. I don't know. But I feel like the world would be a lot better if we were actually based and not just fucking swallowing the propaganda from the corporate media and regurgitating that as opinions. And I see it a lot. I see it so much. People watch the mainstream media, which is propaganda. Look it up. And on a side note, I was up in Canada recently. And whenever I'm up in Canada, my YouTube switches over to Canada, youtube.canada. And then my news feed fills up with the straight up Canadian propaganda, state-owned fucking media that they have up there. And my God, the Trump derangement syndrome was on fire before even the tariffs were there. It was, and now, Jesus, you got, certain prime minister replacements that are in line up there talking about they want nukes pointed at the U.S. I mean, yeah, let's see how that goes. It's just crazy. The world is crazy right now, and I'm just trying to survive in it, as I'm sure most of you are as well. And maybe if we stop pointing fingers and virtue signaling and all that. And by the way, if you're a far lefty, I don't have a problem with you if you don't have a problem with me. We don't agree. And if we can agree to disagree, that's fine. That's how you get change. That's how you compromise. Is when you disagree, you try and work together to come to a common ground you both can stand on. But lately, that's not how politics is working. Politics is, this is the way it is, and if you don't like it, you're a certain World War II person, or you're a ism, or you're this, or you're an ist, or any of these things, just because someone doesn't agree with you. If you do something that's even remotely not lined up in a specific side of the left's agenda, same for the right too, by the way. You're accused of, obviously, if for the right, if you do any of those things, you're a communist, blah, 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 blah. And, it's not productive. It's far more productive to, what the fuck is this guy doing? Sorry, there's a tractor trailer who should not be in this parking lot. It's far more productive to try and, debate healthily and come to some kind of common ground. That's the way it should be. Common ground. That's the way I think this country was designed to work. Checks and balances. But the corruption and the greed has taken its toll on our system. And I don't see that the next 4 years are going to change that. So yeah, we might score a winning battle for these next 4 years, or even 2 years. Midterms are coming. But that doesn't mean it's done. This craziness isn't going anywhere, I don't feel like. I don't feel like it's changing. I feel like we're still going to be divided. You know, there's political violence right now, and I feel like that will only escalate, doesn't just go away. You know, and I don't I don't seem to remember when I in my younger days, correct me if I'm wrong. In my younger days, there wasn't as much political violence as we have nowadays. You know, as far as in the United States, it's not a good sign. It means that people are breaking. Their mental health is breaking down. Their ability to survive is questionable financially. And when it becomes difficult and impossible you know, to feed and shelter and do all and meet your basic needs, when it becomes very difficult, that's when things are going to get fucking horrible. And everybody thinks that what the media tells them is the right way is the right way. No, no. And anything you're watching on media, mainstream media, has an agenda. They have a message. They have a narrative. And if you turn that into your opinion, which I've seen it happen. I've had discussions with someone that literally, because when you watch the news, you watch all the news, and literally they're parroting the talking points straight from the news. I've heard all kinds of shit that ain't true, and it's just, it's crazy. I just listen to what the White House and the press secretary say and Congress says. The reason why I listen to them is because they're the ones doing things. I don't listen to the interpretation. I don't like being told what to think of those things. I don't know. I'm just tired of it all. I'm just fucking tired. Aren't you tired of it? I feel like, one side's particularly happy and they're rubbing it in, and that doesn't help because mental health isn't there to absorb that. Maybe give a lefty a hug sometime today. Make them feel good, because their worldview is crumbling right now. I don't know. What do you think? You think I got too political in this video? Probably. Let me know in the comments. That's if you didn't unsubscribe because I talk politics. Bottom line is, I hate following politics now. I might quit trading just so I don't have to do that. That's how it's affecting me, mental health wise. It's like, how are we supposed to get out of this? This mess we're in. And we're in a mess, people. I don't know if you looked around lately. It's a mess. But I suppose it has to get worse before it gets better. And I think by worse, I mean recession. So things are going to get a little rough for everyone in the next 6 months. Or maybe Trump will pull those $5,000 checks out of his ass. By the way, all you far lefties, feel free, if you do get a $5,000 check, which I don't think is going to happen, but if it happens, feel free to mail me your check. If you don't, if you don't like Orange Man that much, maybe, and especially if you don't like Elon, if they send us a $5,000 check, you can feel free to mail your checks and, just sign them to me. I'll spend them for you. It's fine. Yeah, I wouldn't want you to dirty your hands with Orange Man money, All right. But what the fuck do I know? I'm not an expert. I'm just an asshole. I'm going to be doing my spending cuts. I'm going to be trimming down my lifestyle and subscriptions. I got to get rid of all those subscription shits so that I can survive and maintain some modicum of retirement. That's what I want. Something that's going to become increasingly impossible for the younger generations as well, if we don't change things. You know what really make me happy about the tariffs? Getting rid of the federal income tax. I seem to recall that kind of goes hand in hand. If you're going to tax other countries and essentially we still get taxed on that because corporations pass that on to us, maybe provide some federal tax relief to offset that. That's what, I fire half the IRS, it's cool and all, but I'm not shedding any tears. I don't have any sympathy. If you worked for the IRS and you lost your job, maybe you should have thought about a better career choice. That being said, it would be nice to see some kind of tax relief this year uh, versus the tariffs. So, he's talking about tariffing the fuck out of everyone. But we don't have the infrastructure yet to do that. That's the thing. If I had to disagree with one thing that's going on with the tariff thing, we don't have the infrastructure set up just yet to offset the increase in cost to people, you and me. So in order to do that, if you want to move this quickly, the only way I could see the government offsetting some of that burden is through tax relief of some kind, or maybe those $5,000 check refunds on our money. Unfortunately, the Democrats want you to spend $2 billion more on shit that, shit we don't even know what the fuck it is. But some judge wants to fucking challenge the federal government to stop that. I'm sure that's not a constitutional crisis. And mind you, all of these things that the left is bitching about, their own party has done, and they were quiet. You can almost every example that you can think of. Y'all were smiling and happy as pigs and shit when Biden was fucking signing all these executive orders. But now that it's not your guy, you're like, oh, no, he's a tyrant, he's a dictator. Sorry, it's not true. Hypocrisy. The word of the day is hypocrisy. All right. Okay, so have I pissed off all the lefties? Sorry. But what the fuck do I know? I'm not an expert. I'm just an asshole. Please like and subscribe for more non-political shit. Because, I'm not going to make this my thing. I know some of you want me to rant and rave about politics. But it's stressful and I don't like it. I don't even like having to watch the news. And I watch some of I watch NTD News, which is kind of moderate. They're definitely anti-China, that's for sure. There's an anti-China bias there, which I don't have a problem with. But they seem to hear both sides, both the left and the right seem to get their points across on the news channel. So, which would be nice if the mainstream media followed that template. But most people aren't even getting their news that way anymore. It's more and more new media, and only the boomers are still watching mainstream media. So, the rest of it is social media, which is a whole other... That's like a whole video in and of itself. People getting their political opinions from social media. I don't know. I just watch the speech and say, oh, they're doing this, and I'm either agree with it or I don't. And right now, so far, I've agreed with more of what Trump has announced and what the press secretary has said than when Biden used to talk and mumble and, sniff people and all the shit he was doing. And, when you had the lying press secretaries up there that just lied all the time. Maybe listen to them and peer through that orange glare a bit at the actual policy and not just disagreeing with everything because Trump, that's the dumbest political tactic ever. Disagree with the policy and have an alternative would be a nice thing. Not just pointing, Trump did this, bad, evil. No. Why is that a bad policy? Why is it a bad idea to cut all of the bloat and spending? Explain that to me in the comments if you can, lefties, if you're there. Let me know why cutting all of it. And then don't come in there and be like, he's cutting Medicaid to old people. He's cutting Social Security. No, he's not. He's cutting fraud in those systems. And there's a lot of it. There's a lot of people getting your tax dollar checks who aren't entitled to it. And they're using Social Security and Medicaid and any other government program they can get their fucking filthy hands on to take money that is not for them. So, but I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one who doesn't want to send all their fucking hard-earned money to stupid shit. Maybe, I could get on board with your socialized healthcare too, by the way. If that's what you really want. If you want socialized healthcare, maybe we stop spending hundreds of billions of dollars overseas and just funnel it into our corporate big pharma pockets. And then maybe we'll have some free healthcare. And maybe ask a few Canadians how that's working out for them up there. Waiting 6 months to a year for surgeries and treatments and stuff. Just food for thought. All right, I'm done. I keep fucking needling. I don't know. I'm in a rare mood today, so I just keep going with the little political jabs. I'm sorry. It's just I'm tired of it. I'm tired of... I just want this to stop, this stupidity. Why aren't we all on the same fucking team? Team red and team blue. What the fuck? All right. We're Americans. We live in the United States. Support your own country. Support your people. Your citizens. Support our way of life. Because there isn't a better one out there. I don't care what socialist utopia you think there is out there. Most of them suck. Just saying. In fact, probably the best way of life are these little places, rural places in the middle of nowhere that nobody fucks with because nobody cares about it. It's just too many people trying to take all your money and tell you what to do. That's the big problem that I have with politics. A whole lot of money that they want from me, which is time, just to spend it on shit that I don't want, that I don't agree with, and then to tell me what I can and can't say and do. And that is what the left has offered me throughout the course of my life. So I'm sorry, but anybody that's going to cut the government down like they are right now, I'm on board. Sign me up. I just wish the bullshit would stop, that's all. And I knew it. I knew when he won the election that this is what was going to happen. And to be fair, it's not as bad as it was in 2016, in the first term, but because I feel like more people are a little more knowledgeable and a little less sucking on CNN's tits. This video was all over the place. Sorry. I'm in a mood. I'm in a rare mood. But that's my plan. I'm going to make some cuts, both to the amount of money I spend on this channel and to my personal finances, to hopefully stretch out a few more months of retirement before I get stuck back in a truck, because I really don't want to go back. I'm considering just living a life of poverty just so I don't fucking go back into a truck. Have a nice motherfucking day. Then shit. And if you don't like what's going on, don't yell at your fucking conservative buddy Don't rage against Elon and Trump. Get out and vote. Maybe try and convince people why they should vote the same way as you. No pointing your finger and saying you're evil if you don't vote like I do. No. Maybe come up with some policy ideas or some reasons for us to vote your way. Maybe you tried the stick. You tried beating our ass with the stick. Relentlessly beating us with the stick. Maybe now it's time to try the carrot. The carrot that you use to make millions of people cross the border illegally. Use the carrot. And maybe, just maybe, you'll win an election again someday. Instead of the stick. Or not. Or we could just watch it all fucking fall apart and crumble. Have a nice motherfucking day. And shit. This might be my last video. Fuck.